You'll get the buff and we'll win. It's awesome. Soul Shroud. Soul Shroud gives you a bunch of health, gives mana regen aura, and a cooldown reduction aura. It's really good. It's actually not bad just for yourself, but obviously it's much, much stronger when you're with someone and it gets increased. This is the sort of item that a support character carries, for a couple of reasons. One, most support characters can use the mana regen and the cooldown reduction so that, if you're talking about Morgana, she's got her black shield up more often, or her stun up more often. Janna can, whirlwind more often, all these little things. It's a really good item for those kinds of people. I also really like to build it on Alistar, because Alistar, it gives him a lot of health, and that's something support characters are often lacking. They're pretty squishy, so give them the health. And on Alistar, it gives him health, helps him become more tanky, and he can really make good use of the mana and cooldown reduction to spam his heal more often. And Alistar does okay without much in the way of dedicated tanking items, because he's got his ultimate, makes him so tough. He's got AoE stuns by itself, so he's a really good champion all on his own. And so he's a good carry for this sort of things, or support character. If you're playing a pure support Soraka, for example, this would not be a bad item to get on that. It's not, a mandatory item, although the more spellcasters you have, the better it is. If you've got a team full of physical people who do most of their damage through auto attack, it's not quite as critical. Although, of course, they still have abilities that could benefit from a reduced cooldown as well. Next item, Sunfire Cape. This one I can go back and forth on. It's really interesting. It gives you health, it gives you armor, and it gives you the magic damage as an aura. Now, note that it doesn't give you any extra armor than just the chain vest on its own, and it doesn't really give you more health than just the giant belt on its own. So basically, you are paying 700 gold for the aura that does 40 magic damage per second. And that's not always worthwhile. It really depends on the hero you're playing, what the enemy team is like. I do like it on someone like Rammus, because of course he's good to stack armor on. It's a good item to get as a counter to physical teams. You don't want to get this if it's a team full of spellcasters, because the armor's not going to help that much, and they're going to be sometimes out of range for the aura. But it is really nice for helping you farm minions. But I mean, again, you're not really getting an item for this. It's an okay item. It's not fantastic. Don't get addicted to it. I think I've made that mistake too many times of getting too attached to it. One thing I do like for it is if I'm getting in a lot of fights as a tank where I'm surviving for a long time, but I'm stunned for a lot of it. They've got a lot of CC, but, I'm tough enough that I'm not dying right away. I find this is a really good item in those situations because it helps me still put out some damage. If the fight lasts 5 seconds long, I've done 200 damage to everyone. So that's kind of nice. Innervating Locket. Okay, this is another support item. It does give you the mana aura, which you get from the mana manipulator. Also, on your way to building it, you get to build a Catalyst Protector, which again gives you hit points, gives you the effective extra regen every time you level up. Now that effect does go away once you build the locket, but it means you do have it for a little while. The locket itself, every time you cast a spell, units around you, and I believe it affects yourself as well, yes it does, heal 50 hit points and 20 mana over 2 seconds. It's got a 3-second cooldown, which basically means every time you spam a spell, you're going to be healing people and giving everyone mana, which effectively makes your own spells cheaper. This is a good support item for pushing a lane. When you've got a group of people and you want to keep them together and keep pushing a lane, this supports that sort of those sort of long fights. When you've got the standoffs near a tower, sort of pushing back and forth, and attrition is eventually going to force you away, this helps keep your team up there. I don't know how many times it's an important one to get. This is actually a very cool item to get on Alistar again. It just combos so well with him. He's already got the AoE heal, so when he uses it, this would heal even more. It keeps his mana up. It keeps him at the center of the team and basically keeps your entire team healed while you push forward. It keeps your minions healed, and you can keep pushing a tower, pushing a tower, pushing a tower. It's a good item for him, probably a good item for a few other support characters, potentially Soraka, I don't know. Yeah, Banshees Veil. Amazing. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Pretty much anytime you're up against a team with like a couple of stuns, if not more, maybe a slow, something like that, this becomes an amazing item. A, it gives you health and mana. B, when you do build the Catalyst, which you can build very early on, it does help you heal and keep you in a lane longer. So you could, rush a Catalyst early on and then forget about it for a little bit, get another couple items, and then finish the Banshees Veil later. But the Banshee Veil makes you so much harder to kill. The magic resist is a great counter to anyone who does magic damage, but it just eats one spell every 30 seconds, which is huge. There are plenty of games where one side, everyone ends up getting a Banshee's Veil because, it just hoses the other team. They've got maybe a Ryze and an Annie, and even, like, at that point, a Scion or a Taric with a stun or something like that. You get those Banshee's Veils, you shut down the enemy team, and you win. It's such a strong item. Again, gives you health. It's a really good item to get on a tank. And that'll bring me to the Warmogs again soon. You don't need a Warmog's Armor. You can build these items that give you health. You've got the Banshee's Veil. You've got the Frozen Mallet. You've got these things that give you health and do other stuff and are just awesome and make you tough. And the Banshee's Veil will make you a lot tougher because it just eats spells. Next item on the list, Riley's Crystal Scepter. An amazing item. Okay, it is pricey. There's no doubt about that. You are building it from a Blasting Wand, an Amplifying Tome, and a Giant's Belt. So obviously it's going to give you health. It gives you a tiny bit more than just the belt on its own, and it gives you actually a fairly respectable amount more than the Amplifying Tome on its own. You're spending 700 gold to complete this item, but you're basically getting an extra 20 ability power for free, which is an Amplifying Tome, which is 435 gold. So most of the cost is eaten by that, plus it gives you an extra 70 health more than the Giant Belt. So really completing this recipe is almost free. And then you get an awesome passive, which is when you deal damage with a spell, it slows people down. This is basically the Frozen Mallet, but for spellcasters. And it's incredible. The slow is a little bit less for multi-target spells, but you're slowing a lot of people down. This makes you a beast in a lot of group fights. If you've got any spells that you're going to be landing on people reliably, it is an amazing item and makes you a lot tougher. Again, spellcasters tend to have problems with survivability. That fixes that problem. We've been in this match 13 minutes, and the bots have finally killed each other. Awesome. Let's see. What was I saying? I get this item for a lot of spellcasters. I really like on a Heimerdinger, even though he's already got a grenade that stuns people. But that stun's pretty unreliable. Even though he can turn on his ultimate to make his turrets freeze people, although again it's unreliable because you can't force the turrets to target anyone specific. This is an awesome item because it makes your rockets stun 3 people. It makes your grenades, even if you don't get the stun off, still slow people. It is a fantastic item. It's a fantastic item for a lot of people. It makes your spellcasters quite a bit tougher. Great. Actually skipped some items here. I realized I skipped a row. Let me go and do Warmogs really quick, because this is going to be a contentious one, I know. I'll probably get comments down below, and of course I always welcome comments, and please give me your feedback because it's really valuable. Warmog's Armor is a terrible item. I've said it, and I will tell you why it's a terrible item, and you should almost never get a Warmog's Armor. For the cost, it does not give you very much, okay? You are getting just the basic items by itself are starting you at 580, 610 health. So you are paying an extra 1100 gold for 160 health, which is less than a crystal. So you're paying, like 2.5 times the cost of ruby crystal worth of health. Like for the amount of health that one crystal gives you, you're paying 2.5 times as much. It's really, really, really ludicrous. And you are getting some, twice as much health regen as the regrowth pendant, but you're paying so much for it. The health regen by itself is not worth it. Just for the money you spend completing Warmogs, you could buy these items. You could basically buy a second giant spell and start with a bunch more health. It's not generally worthwhile, especially since health regen, not actually a very valuable stat. It helps you laning, but other than that, it does not help you win fights because you're not regenerating a notable amount of health during a fight. Now, yes, you can load this item up by killing minions or champions and getting a bonus, but the bonus is so small. It's 3.6 health per minion kill. And if you're getting this, you're getting it as a tank that probably can't farm that well. It caps out at 450 health. So just ballpark here, you're going to need like 90 million minion kills. Am I doing this right? So let's say this is 4 health. 4 times 9 is 4. No, I keep screwing it up here. Man, my math is so bad. 4 times 9, 18, 36. No, so more than that. I guess